Today's news of Taiwan broadcast, August 3, 2026.
This is the brief on today's top global and Taiwanese news. Today's stories cover a spectrum of critical emergencies, showing why understanding how crises unfold matters, from a local corporate cover-up to a high-stakes sports mishap and devastating global environmental disasters. When a sudden crisis hits, whether in a boardroom, an airport, or a forest, how well do our systems actually hold up? First, in the Central Union Oil food safety scandal, Taichung District Court detained factory manager Chen Mingrong. In May, Taisugar returned raw oil containing excess benzopyrene, but Chen hid it until a late June whistleblower. The health minister stated semi-finished raw oil lacks the mandatory reporting rules of finished edible oil. It's literally like muffling a blaring smoke detector instead of just calling the fire department. Second, we pivot to table tennis star Cheng Ai-ching's luggage crisis. After flight NNA NH852 to Tokyo's Haneda Airport, passenger Huang mistakenly took her black butterfly suitcase. It holds essential match gear needed for the WTT Wakahama Champions Tournament starting August 4th. Imagine showing up for the most important presentation of your career and someone accidentally walked off with your laptop. How do you even prepare? Finally, we zoom out to devastating wildfires in Greece and the US. Greece lost 12,000 hectares in 4 days, causing a mid-air collision of 2 firefighting helicopters, leaving 2 dead. Washington and Oregon faced their worst wildfires since 2000, prompting a state of emergency with over 2 million acres burned. To put 2 million acres into perspective, that is the equivalent of 30 entire Taipei cities burning down all at once. Ultimately, whether it's corporate negligence, a misplaced bag before a championship, or raging natural disasters, today's stories show us exactly how quickly everyday situations can spiral into high-alert emergencies.
Morning news source for August 3, 2026. Several high-profile social and criminal cases have recently occurred across Taiwan, covering violent conflicts, public safety, and significant investigation progress, public violence and harassment incidents. Taipei Main Station attack. A homeless man surnamed Chen, dissatisfied with a Filipino woman's loud phone conversation at a bus stop in front of the station, chased and attacked her in public, forcibly snatched her phone and threw it around, and kicked her suitcase away. An American man who had just gotten off the bus intervened, subduing Chen with his bare hands. Chen was subsequently taken into custody by the police. The investigation revealed that Chen had a prior record of theft and endangering public safety, and had been forcibly hospitalized 3 days prior for littering at Taipei Main Station. Chiai Cinema assault. A bloody conflict erupted at a cinema on Wenhua Road in Chiai City. A man surnamed Sai was watching Spider-Man: Rebirth when he was reminded by a man surnamed Liao behind him that he was using his phone too much and the screen was too bright. Sai became enraged and punched Liao in the nose. Liao subsequently filed a complaint with the police for assault. Pingtung District Prosecutor's Office door smashing case. A man appeared in court on suspicion of sexual harassment. After the hearing, he suddenly lost control, picked up a large horse-shaped object from the entrance, and smashed it against the prosecutor's office door, shattering the glass. He then rushed into nearby shops and caused trouble. He was eventually subdued by police with pepper spray and forcibly taken to the hospital. He will be prosecuted for property damage and obstruction of official duties. Major food safety investigation and legal ruling. Progress in the Chunglin Oils case. The Taichung District Court ordered the detention of Chen Mingyong, the factory manager of Chunglin Oils, bringing the total number of people detained in this case to 4. The ruling revealed that Chung Lion Chemical Co., Ltd., had received notification from Taiwan Sugar Corporation in May that crude oil contained excessive levels of benzopyrene and required returns, but the factory manager concealed this until a whistleblower reported it at the end of June. Furthermore, there were also cases in Chiai County where OEM Camellia oil tested positive for excessive levels of benzopyrene. Traffic and public safety accidents. New Taipei Rufang drug-driven vandalism case. A 22-year-old man surnamed Song drove his car into a hillside in the early morning. After escaping, He broke into a nearby guest house, smashed the door, and damaged a bronze statue worth $300,000, causing the business over $600,000 in total losses. Police conducted a rapid saliva test on him, which showed a positive result for benzodiazepines. The man confessed to adding drugs to his energy drink. Police have transferred him to the prosecutor's office on charges of endangering public safety. Fatal traffic accident in Sanchong District, New Taipei City, around midnight today. A taxi collided at high speed with an on-motorcycle coming in Sanchong District, resulting in severe brain hemorrhage injuries to the 20-year-old motorcyclist and 19-year-old passenger, who were rushed to the hospital. Dangerous driving by a taxi driver in Kaohsiung. A passenger complained that a taxi driver on duty at Kaohsiung International Airport was watching TikTok videos while driving on a national highway, disregarding safety and displaying a poor attitude. Police will issue a warrant, and the driver may face disqualification from airport duty. Bizarre murder and fire. The Gizaking murder case in Baitu. A 63-year-old taxi driver surnamed Huang was found dead inside his vehicle by hikers, with a fruit knife protruding from his left chest. Preliminary police investigation revealed no signs of forced entry or a suicide note. The exact cause of death is still under investigation. Fire at Sanchong Market. Thick smoke and a strong plastic odor emanated from stalls on the first floor of Guangming Market in New Taipei City in the evening. The fire department dispatched 25 vehicles and 61 personnel to extinguish the fire. Fortunately, no one was injured. International major incidents. Idaho shooting, USA. On the afternoon of the first local time, a gunman opened fire inside a shopping mall and a well-known burger joint, resulting in at least 3 deaths and 2 injuries, including the gunman. Ferry fire in Indonesia. A ferry carrying 271 people caught fire at sea. Currently, 5 people are known to be dead and 41 are missing. Some passengers jumped overboard and were rescued. Controversies over concealed notification. A ruling from the Taiking District Court revealed that Taiwan Sugar Corporation (TSC) had discovered excessive levels of benzopyrene in crude oil supplied by China United Petroleum Machinery Co., Ltd. (CUP) as early as May and processed a return of the goods. However, at that time, TSC only notified CUP and did not report to the competent authorities. Political battle between central and local governments. The Ministry of Health and Welfare argued that TSC was inspecting semi-finished products and therefore had no legal obligation to report. This statement sparked criticism from Taiking Mayor Lu Xiaoyan, who accused state-owned enterprises of covering up the case. Dioxin suspicion in goat milk. Rumors circulated in Yunlin that mutton and goat milk contained dioxins, leading to the preventative removal of the 40-year-old Kianan goat milk brand from shelves. Later, testing by the Yunlin County government confirmed that feeding from specific ranches exceeded the limits, while all raw materials used in Kianan goat milk were qualified or compliant, clearing the brand's name. Hygiene oversight. A customer in Taiking City found living worms in soup dumplings. The business owner apologized, stating it was the first time in 20 years of operation that such an incident had occurred. Major natural disasters. Kumamoto earthquake, Japan. A magnitude 7.1 earthquake struck Kumamoto, Japan on July 28, with a maximum intensity of 7. Major casualties. As of July 31st, the earthquake had caused 34 deaths. Major damage included a massive gas explosion at Aeon Mall, suspected to be caused by a gas leak, 7 confirmed employees dead, and the collapse of a chimney at the Nippon Paper Yatsude factory, which killed 9 employees. Complex disasters. The affected areas are experiencing extreme temperatures of 34 to 38 degrees Celsius, accompanied by widespread power and water outages, leading to heat stroke among many evacuees. More than 148 aftershocks have been recorded. Wildfires rage in the U.S. and Greece. Greece. A severe wildfire broke out west of Athens, burning 12,000 hectares of land in 4 days. Tragically, 2 firefighting helicopters collided in mid-air, killing both pilots. United States. Washington and Oregon are experiencing their worst wildfires since 2000, burning over 2 million acres, approximately 30 times the size of Taipei City. Washington state has declared a state of emergency and issued a fire ban. India. Heavy rains have hit many parts of India, causing severe flooding in the capital, New Delhi, leading to widespread traffic chaos. Public safety and epidemic. Indonesian ferry fire. A ferry carrying 271 people caught fire at sea, resulting in 5 deaths and 41 missing persons. Many passengers were forced to jump into the sea to escape. New York Legionnaire's disease. A Legionnaire's disease outbreak has occurred in New York City, mainly concentrated in Manhattan's Upper East Side, with a total of 82 confirmed cases and at least 5 deaths. Authorities have detected the pathogen in cooling towers of 34 buildings. Terrorist attacks and violence. Berlin, Germany. On July 25, a terrorist attack occurred at the Berlin Pride Parade. A 21-year-old suspect drove a car into the crowd and stabbed people, resulting in 1 death and 29 injuries. Authorities have classified it as an Islamist terrorist attack, and the suspect is alleged to have attempted to join ISIS. Idaho. A gunman opened fire in a shopping mall and a burger joint, killing at least 3 people, including the gunman, and injuring 2. Seattle. A shooting occurred during the Seattle Food Festival, resulting in 3 deaths and 4 injuries, triggering panic and stampedes. Paris, France. A knife attack occurred in the 17th arrondissement of Paris, injuring 3 women. Geopolitical and military tensions. U.S., China, and Iran in a 3-way power struggle. Middle East conflict escalates. Iran launched missiles at U.S. military bases in Jordan. In retaliation, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia launched airstrikes on several militia strongholds in Iraq. Trump's shift in stance. U.S. President Trump, who had initially vowed to crush Iran until it surrendered, softened his stance on August 1, announcing a temporary halt to attacks on Iran at the request of Iran and the Saudi Crown Prince, among other Middle Eastern countries, in an effort to reach an agreement. Red Sea threat. The Houthi rebels in Yemen, guided by Iran, plan to impose tolls on ships entering and leaving the Red Sea, potentially posing a serious threat to the security of this vital international waterway. Taiwan Strait situation. The CCP continues to expand its military power, claiming to have conducted live fire exercises in the Taiwan Strait and launched a carrier rocket through Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone. Simultaneously, the USAID American Institute in Taiwan released its first photo of U.S. and Taiwanese Coast Guard vessels together, strengthening maritime cooperation. These events demonstrate that the world is currently facing a high-risk period of natural disaster threats, a resurgence of terrorism, and military confrontations between major powers, posing severe challenges to disaster prevention and security early warning mechanisms worldwide. Based on morning news sources from late July to early August 2026, the following is a summary of transportation policies, new regulations, and livelihood information closely related to people's lives. 1. Major transportation construction and planning. High-speed rail extension to Yilin approved. The Executive Yuan has approved the extension of the high-speed rail to Yilin, with a total budget exceeding $350 billion. It is expected to be completed and operational in 11 years. At that time, the journey from Taipei to Yilin will be shortened to approximately 28 minutes. The high-speed rail Yilin station will be shared with the Taiwan Railway's Xinxi station, facilitating transfers. 2. New transportation and livelihoods regulations starting in August. Taoyuan Airport Technology Enforcement. Starting August 1, technology enforcement will be implemented at meeting designated points in Terminal 2 of Taoyuan Airport. Vehicles are prohibited from parking in the controlled area for more than 3 minutes, with a maximum fine of $1,200. Student loans and medical benefits. Starting in August, student loan interest rates will be reduced by 1 percentage point, and the grace period for repayment will be extended. Regarding medical care, Atropine-containing eye drops for controlling myopia in children will be covered by national health insurance. 3. Essential goods and daily life focus summer egg shortage. Due to high temperatures, the domestic egg supply has become tight, especially for brown-shelled eggs. The wholesale price has risen from NT $41 to NT $46 per catty, approximately 0.5 kilogram, and some supermarkets are experiencing shortages of eggs. This price increase has lasted for at least 2 weeks. Inheritance Tax Act Amendment. The Executive Yuan passed a draft amendment to the Inheritance and Gift Tax Act for property gifted to specific relatives within 2 years of death. The tax will be calculated based on the proportion of the gifted property to the total estate, and the recipient will bear the tax in order to prevent tax evasion loopholes. 4. Traffic safety reminders. Bus blind spots and public safety. Several bus accidents have occurred recently, including a woman being dragged through the rear door and another being hit while crossing in front of a bus. Police remind drivers that buses have 4 blind spots: directly in front of the vehicle, the right front a pillar, the inner wheel difference on the right side of the vehicle, and behind the rear. Drivers should avoid crossing directly in front of or behind the vehicle. Do not over-rely on driver assistance systems. Several accidents have occurred on the Nantou section of national highways where drivers using driver assistance systems failed to notice the vehicles in front, resulting in rear-end collisions with vehicles undergoing roadworks. Police urge drivers to continue monitoring road conditions at all times.
Today's submitted material is a comprehensive morning news broadcast transcript covering a huge spectrum of events, from international wildfires and food safety scandals to local traffic disputes and weather updates. And I want to dive right in, because the current sequencing of news items creates this completely jarring tonal whiplash that disrupts the audience's absorption of the information.
Yeah, you really feel that whiplash when reading through the script. I mean, we rapidly pivot from a relatively low-stakes story about, a table tennis player's lost luggage.
Right.
Directly into a severe car crash in Sancheng.
Yeah. And later on, it arbitrarily mixes these catastrophic global wildfires with a minor localized scooter argument in Taichung.
It's just wild.
I mean, if a broadcast is like a multi-course meal, right now we are serving soup, dessert, and steak all on the exact same plate. So how do we reorganize this so the viewer can actually digest the news?
Well, I think you fix it by breaking the broadcast into distinct thematic blocks. Like, an audience needs time to emotionally and cognitively settle into a specific context before we just drag them into a completely different one.
Right. So practically speaking, we could group the Zhonglian oil scandal and the high-speed rail updates into a dedicated national affairs block early in the broadcast.
Exactly. Then you cluster the U.S. and Greek wildfires, along with those Romanian bears.
Oh yeah, the bears.
Right. You put those together for a Global Watch segment, which then leaves the movie theater altercation and that ping-tung door-smashing thing for a local incidents roundup toward the end. Organizing it this way just respects the emotional weight of the stories.
Yeah, it really does. And building on how we ordered those stories, we also need to examine the time and weight allocated to these newly organized blocks, because the script frequently assigns disproportionate airtime to minor local disputes at the expense of major systemic issues.
The allocation is definitely skewed. Highly localized, isolated events, like that movie theater fight over a bright smartphone screen.
Which is crazy that it got so much time.
I know, it receives nearly as much detailed coverage and dialogue as a massive nationwide food safety cover-up like the Zhonglian oil scandal.
Which means we need to implement a strict, tiered hierarchy of news value to dictate the script's length and depth. I mean, issues with broad public impact must receive the most comprehensive analysis.
Let's look at how to actually do that. We can condense that movie theater fight into a brief, 10-second anchor read.
Right, just a quick mention.
Exactly. And that frees up highly valuable seconds on the clock.
And we take that saved time and reallocate it to explain the actual health implications of the exceeded BP threshold in the oil scandal.
Yeah, or maybe to break down the massive environmental scale of the Washington state fires.
Right, but let me push back for a second here. If we strip away the localized content to focus heavily on systemic issues, is there a risk that we overlook the audience's craving for relatable human-level drama? Like people tune in for that kind of tension.
Well, they absolutely do. Yeah. It's not about eliminating the human drama entirely, though. It's about right-sizing it.
Okay, how so?
Well, a brief flash of local tension serves as a punchy palate cleanser between heavier segments.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, by shrinking it to a quick update, it satisfies that craving, but it doesn't steal the spotlight from the systemic news that actually impacts the viewers' lives on a massive scale.
Deliberate curation is everything here. So to quickly recap our main takeaways for this critique, implement thematic blocking to prevent that tonal whiplash.
Right. And establish a strict news hierarchy to ensure major issues receive the depth they actually deserve.
We warmly invite you to implement these actionable suggestions and submit your revised work back in for another critique.
Yep, we'd love to see it.
Until then, remember that you control the rhythm of the day's events. So make sure the transitions and the pacing serve the story.